Alright, so in this video I'm going to show people how to authenticate a few different machines to Active Directory, a couple different types of Ubuntu, CentOS, Solaris, and Windows. Um, in this video, we're going to be authenticating our Mint machine. We're going to be using Mint 13 and a command line tool. In Ubuntu, we're going to be using Ubuntu 2.04 long-term support, and we're going to be using a graphical user interface version of the tool that we're going to use on the Mint box. So before we jump into Mint, I just want to show you just one thing and just take note of who we got here and what we're going to do. So I'm just going to put that down off to the side. We're going to go to Office, and we're going to look in IT admin. So we have Rylan Gatto. That's our administrator account, and our Gatto, all in lowercase, is his account name. So Fred, he's our Unix user. His account name is Fred, all in lowercase. And then finally we have Nick, and he's our Windows user, or our user. It doesn't need to be specifically Windows, but in this case he's operating on Windows. So his login name is Nick, all in lowercase. We're going to exit out of there, click on computers, and you can see there are no items to show in this view at this time. So we're going to just take note of who we have in there and that there's no computers. Now we're going to click on our Mint box, and then we are going to configure a couple files so our computer knows where our server is. Basically, we're going to go sudo vim. We're going to change basically our domain name, so when we put in the domain, it knows which IP address to go out and ping. So we're going to open up our host file. We're going to go to the third line here and just type in the name of our DNS server. So in this case, if you've been following along, you know that that's our name, and then we're going to put in win, because our domain name is win.server.local, but in this case we just need win. We're going to save that, and then we're going to open up our nsswitch folder, etc.nsswitch.conf, and then we're going to go down to this line right here, comment it out. Going to go above it or below it, doesn't really matter actually. Just going to type the line files dns.m, or not .m, dns, and we're just going to save that and get out of there. So finally, we are going to make a resolve.conf file, and what that's going to do is that's going to set our DNS address for us and really take care of everything that we need, so our computer always knows that when we put in win.server.local, we want to go to a specific IP address and not somewhere else. So our first line is going to be search, and we're going to put in win.server.local. Then we're going to put in a name underneath of that. We're going to put name server, and then our DNS address. So okay, and we'll save that. Now basically everything's ready for the tools that we're going to download. So we're going to download using package manager apt. We're going to go apt-get install. We're going to go likewise, and then open 5, and then we are going to go lsas, and basically that is all we need. That is going to get the actual command line tool itself, and then bring in some dependencies that are going to help us with some errors that occur on different versions of Ubuntu and Mint. So press enter, press yes. We'll go ahead and get that, and you can see right here that it's not just downloading likewise open 5 lsas, it's actually getting likewise open as well, and that's actually the command line tool. It says suggested packages likewise open GUI. We'll be using that in Ubuntu in the next video. Alright, so now you have likewise installed and you're ready to actually authenticate to your Active Directory. What we're going to do is type in sudo domain join CLI dash CLI. And then we're going to put in join, and then we're going to put in our domain name. So in my case, it's winserver.local. And then we need to authenticate with an administrator. So we know that Argato is an administrator on our Windows server. So we're going to press enter, and then I'm going to put in our administrative password. It says joining to AD such and such with computer DNS mint dot such and such. All right, so then now we're going to put in our administrative password on our Windows server, and it says success. You should reboot this system before attempting GUI logins as a domain user. So we can go sudo reboot and just let that reboot really quick here. Okay, we go back here, open up our Windows server, go here, and we'll look. So we have Rylangato and Fred, and we have Nick as well. So I'm going to go and type in Fred, and then type in his password. And if you notice, obviously, it didn't authenticate. It says incorrect username or password. Now, what is happening is in some versions of Linux or Windows, you don't need to put in the server, but in some operating systems, you have to put in the name of the domain, so in our case win, then you got to put in the slash, and then the name of the user that you want to sign into in Active Directory. So in our case, it'll be Fred, so it'll be win/Fred, and then we'll enter, put in Fred's password, press enter, and sure enough, it should take us in after a little black screen. There we go. Can open up the terminal, and we can see win Fred, and he's on the Mint machine. So now, just to show you something really quick here, I'm going to go to menu, log out. Now, just because Fred is our Unix user does not mean Fred necessarily is the only user that can sign into a Unix machine. So we go win, and then we can go Argato, put in that password, and again, there we go. So if we open up our terminal, we can see we're signed in as Argato. Alright, so that is my first video on how to authenticate with Mint 13 Maya. Thanks for watching.